Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, Thunderbird solo pilot ejects from stricken F-16C. Air India gets 13-year aircraft parking bill. What's new with Dynon's flagship avionics system? Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Talon Blee. Let's get into today's stories. Thunderbird solo pilot ejects from stricken F-16C. A Thunderbird pilot, identified alternately as Thunderbird 5 or Thunderbird 6, but not yet confirmed officially, ejected from a Lockheed Martin F-16C M52CF fighting Falcon on Wednesday, December 3rd, during a training mission in California. The accident occurred near Trona Airport on an unoccupied dry lakebed area south of the airport in San Bernardino County. The pilot ejected safely just before the airframe impacted the ground. The Air Force has said little. Quote, on December 3, 2025, at approximately 10:45 a.m., a Thunderbird pilot ejected safely from an F-16C Fighting Falcon aircraft during a training mission over controlled airspace in California. The pilot is in stable condition and receiving follow-on care. The incident is under investigation, and further information will be released from the 57th Wing Public Affairs Office, end quote. The pilot was reportedly transported to a nearby hospital and is in stable condition with non-life-threatening injuries. The jet impacted in the dry lake bed and was destroyed. Local fire crews responded to extinguish the resulting fire. A hazmat team has also been called in to deal with fuels and materials on the aircraft, probably the hydrazine used in F-16 emergency power seat ejection systems. And environmental response teams are also being utilized to handle cleanup and mitigate contamination risk. The exact cause of the crash remains under investigation. After the break, aerobatic community remembers trailblazing aviator Betty Stewart.
I'm currently using the Hartsel Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartsel's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Aerobatic community remembers trailblazing aviator Betty Stewart. Betty Stewart, a pioneer in competitive aerobatics and a cornerstone of the International Aerobatic Club, passed away at the age of 78. Tributes quickly poured in from pilots who credit her with shaping both their flying and the sport itself. Stewart's competitive record is legendary. She represented the United States at the 1976, 1980, and 1982 World Aerobatic Championships, ultimately becoming the first person to win the world title in 2 consecutive events. The 1980 performance earned her 3 individual gold medals, and the Women's World Aerobatic Champion title, repeated in 1982 with another 3 golds and a team silver for good measure. Tri-Cities Congressman asks FAA to revoke wind farm approval. Representative Dan Newhouse has written to the FAA asking it to take a closer look at a massive wind farm project set for construction near a commercial airport, which the agency previously determined to pose, quote, no hazard to air navigation. The so-called Horse Heaven Hills Wind Project spans roughly 72,000 acres southwest of Kennewick and would place up to 222 turbines across about 24 miles of Benton County. Proposed turbine heights reach roughly 671 feet. The primary concern is the impact on the skies above. AG disapproves aircraft ban at Chatham Municipal Airport. The Massachusetts State Attorney General's office has overturned a bylaw passed by the town of Chatham, which voted in its May 2025 annual meeting to pass Article 59 that sought to prohibit aircraft with wingspans larger than 49 feet from landing at Chatham Municipal Airport. A letter from Assistant Attorney General Kelly E. Goonigan to Town Clerk Julie Smith stated that the bylaw was inconsistent with state law and therefore was disapproved. Airbus shares dive after A320 issues go public. Airbus shares fell sharply recently after a 1-2 punch of technical problems involving its best-selling A320 family went public. The stock dropped nearly 11% at one point, its steepest single-day slide in years, following reports that exposed both a large-scale software vulnerability and a newly discovered structural quality issue affecting recently built jets. The turmoil began over the holiday weekend when Airbus confirmed more than 6,000 A320 series aircraft required an urgent software update to address a flight control computer bug triggered by solar flares. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Air India gets 13-year aircraft parking bill. Air India somehow misplaced a 43-year-old Boeing 737-200 and forgot about it for over a decade. The Kolkata Airport didn't forget about the airplane, though, and continued to add parking fees. The airline was oblivious until recently when it received a parking bill that over a 13-year period accumulated to a total of 10 million Indian rupee, about $120,000 USD. The story began in 2012 when the Air India aircraft was taken out of service and parked on a remote parking bay at Kolkata Airport. As time went on, staff changed and those who knew about the 737 gradually left, and the jet slipped through the cracks. When the airport called the airline and asked them to remove the airplane, the airline responded by saying it wasn't actually their aircraft. Apparently, there was no record of it because of chronic administrative lapses when the aircraft belonged to Indian Airlines, a state-owned company. However, a complete and thorough internal audit revealed it was indeed Air India's plane. When Air India officials finally understood what happened, they decided to bite the bullet and pay the fee. Air India ended up selling the plane to an undisclosed buyer who will use the aircraft as a dedicated maintenance training platform at Kempegowda International Airport in Bengaluru. After these messages, what's new with Dynon's flagship avionics system?
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
The legendary BD 4-seat program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged 4-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD 4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD 4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit surewings.com and bdaviation.com for more detail.
Welcome back. What's new with Dynon's flagship avionics system? Dynon has released SkyView HDX software version 17.4, bringing a fresh round of upgrades and quality of life improvements to its flagship experimental avionics suite. The update centers on improving usability, expanding hardware compatibility, and ensuring the system remains current with global data models and evolving technology. Version 17.4 adds support for the SV Expander 263 transponder and enables on-screen nav radio tuning for compatible units, including the Trig TX56 and TX57. The update also introduces compatibility with new oil, fuel, fluid, and manifold pressure sensors, widening the range of engines and installations the system can support. Other updates include revised Trig nomenclature with the serial port setup and incorporation of the 2025 World Magnetic Model, ensuring current magnetic data for navigation and heading functions. Dynon reports several improvements to system operation. The transponder update process has been made more robust, and the map layer selection screen now supports more than 4 selectable chart categories. SkyView HDX remains Dynon's most popular avionics platform for experimental and light general aviation aircraft. The system uses a touchscreen interface, offered in 7, 10, and 12-inch display sizes, paired with physical controls. All HDX displays retain compatibility with existing SkyView modules and mounting profiles. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.